Okay, hi guys, it's Ellis and Corey. I'm talking about mental diet today. So I'm first just going to explain what it actually is and then how it can help you and why it's important, things like that. Okay, this is hopefully going to be quick, but just never know. So mental diet is literally, I got a lot of sun yesterday. I can tell. I'm like almost burnt. Anyway, I digress. So, mental diet is basically needed. You need to do mental diet with every other technique you're doing. Like, let's say you love visualizing, or you love affirming, no problem. Or you love SATs, you love going to bed at night and doing a visual before you fall asleep. Or you love the lullaby method and you love repeating an affirmation before you go to sleep, like Neville's lullaby method. Anything will work to get you into the state, obviously, right? We're just trying to line up with whatever's already happening, with our desires that are already happening, right? So all of those are great. But what you want to include is you want to always include a mental diet, because the mental diet is just it's kind of like a food diet, right? It's like you paying attention like you would pay attention to what you were putting in your mouth if you were on a food diet. It's like that with your thoughts. It's really paying attention to what you are thinking all day, and having the awareness to catch the thoughts that are not lining up with your preferred reality, right? And this is really important when you want to see fast changes or you want things to shift. You want to start paying attention. It's going to be one of the most valuable tools you can actually practice to become the person you want to be with your desires, So, the other thing I want to say about mental diet is the more you practice being aware of your thoughts, like the more you practice it, the easier it will become. Like you won't have thoughts that are running just randomly in the background. You'll actually be able to pay attention to what's going on back there and not let things just go, And this becomes extremely important when we want things quickly, right? We want to pay attention so that we don't have these tracks running in the back of our minds where we're not conscious of them, right? And, probably before this conscious manifestation, consciously creating your own reality, you might not have been aware of the things going on in your mind all the time, right? But this brings us the awareness of that, right? It makes it very important to pay attention to, because we want to be catching things that are not lined up with what we want, right? We want to be catching things that are not our preference. And then, switching them pretty much right away, like going back to what we want, right? Going back to the thoughts we want to have. And we're just training our minds. We are, putting in new tracks, basically. So we have basically a bunch of old tracks running that are kind of on autopilot, basically from our childhood or wherever we got these beliefs from, right? Like our parents, or just wherever we've been picking up beliefs along the way, right? So this is extremely common. Everybody's got them, but it's about paying attention to those tracks that are running in the back so you can catch them and change them. And it's really a great, awareness tool in order to be able to catch them and change them. And it's just, our process gets easier and easier once you start doing it. Now, one thing I wanted to mention about this as well is having a really good mental diet. Like if you've been practicing this for a while and you actually get really good at it, you can, it will make you aware. Like, for example, if you have an emotional reaction to something, let's say you have a 3D occurrence, or you have a bad thought. Sometimes you can have emotional reaction to either one of those things, right? Like something in the 3D that looks bad, or a bad thought like, oh no, you know, if you have a fearful thought, you can have a negative reaction to that, and then you kind of spiral out. But doing a mental diet will make you aware of where your faith is, if that makes sense. Like if you keep reacting to the 3D and you keep reacting to it, and you keep reacting to your negative thoughts, you kind of are telling yourself that your faith lies in the old story, in the old you, right? Whereas if you are just not concerned with it, if something shows up negative, or you just know it's the old story, like if you're able to say quickly, oh, it's the old story, that's not me anymore, that's the old me. If you have those consciously quickly coming in as the solution to whatever's happening instead of reacting, you know your faith is in the new reality, in the new delusion, in the new you, in what you actually want, not in the old, in the past, right? So once you have such a strong hold of mental diet, like you've been doing it for a while, you'll be able to pick out, it'll make you more aware of where your reactions are, right? Because you'll be so used to having such a good mental diet. You won't be swaying as much. Your thoughts won't be all over the place, right? So if you have a good grip on your thoughts, and you know, and you've been training them, and you've been realizing the ones that don't fit anymore, and you're discarding the ones you don't want anymore, that you don't want to keep creating in your life, you will be able to see very clearly where these slight changes need to happen in your life for big changes, right? Like you'll be able to see these like little pieces that are going kind of under the radar, and really nail them down, like pin them down and be able to change them. So the benefits of doing a mental diet for a long period of time there are lots of benefits, but that's one benefit where you really get to see where your faith is, and you'll see the contrast really easily, right? You'll be able to pick out like, oh, this doesn't match my good mental diet, right? And you'll be able to see, oh no, this is a reaction. You'll be able to look, where is my faith? Am I declaring the new me, or am I declaring the old me in this moment? And if you're reacting to a circumstance and you're reacting negatively, or you're having emotions and all kinds of stuff, it means you're playing with the old you. You are interacting with the old you. You are keeping that alive, if that makes sense, right? So you are, as soon as you're interacting with it by having emotions and by reacting, I kind of think of it like interacting is reacting. You know, it's one of the ways you interact with something. You are keeping that reality alive. So you want to be really aware of that, and having a good mental diet will make you aware of that. So let me think if there's anything else I wanted to say. The mental diet, though, is one of the key pillars here. You don't want to let it go, you know, and it'll keep you from spiraling as well if you're used to doing a mental diet, which leads to less and less creations that you don't want, you know. So just get better and better at it. It's just a practice. You will get better at it. It'll become easier. You'll be able to catch your thoughts more and more. You won't be having these thoughts that are totally outlandish, things that you don't even want to experience, and you will be training your life in the direction that you want it to go in, and not letting these thoughts control you, right? These negative thoughts that are just conditioning control you all the time, right? We're trying to decondition the old crap, and we're reconditioning. So the mental diet is an amazing way of reconditioning, right? And it's not very specific. It's just a mental diet. You know, it's a general overall thing that you are almost like agreeing to in this new life of creating your life, right? In creating consciously. Okay. So I hope this helped. It's just a little reminder about mental diet and why it's so important. And if you liked it, thumbs me up. And if you love Neville and changing your life and transformation and law of assumption, the dog, she's not with me, so she's telling me it's time to go, then stick around. I'd love to have you, and bye guys.